think there's a certain Don Quixote-like quality to the beginning of the nights. A bunch of recent graduates coming together and saying, we want to start an orchestra.
Reading chamber music in the living room, eating food, drinking wine, getting to know each other. It was completely unexpected that 10 years later, the group would be thriving as an orchestra together, playing concerts, touring around the world, making recordings.
It's an interesting time to be having a 10th anniversary when we are not able to be together in the same space performing as a full orchestra, and it makes me reflect on the things that I love about the Knights. Part of the artistic DNA of the Knights is the many talents that people bring to bear. While most of us have a very strict conservatory training, we have people who are versed in the jazz worlds, people who are singer-songwriters, people who are composers, arrangers, those who specialize in new music. So Erik and my jobs are to find a way that those voices can come to the fore at various times and enrich what this tradition of orchestral music is.
The Knights have been kind of a musical sandbox for me in a lot of ways to bring ideas, no matter how big, no matter how small, no matter how crazy seeming. And to know that I have that place where I can try things out, where I can be given feedback, and most importantly, where I'm going to have a group of musicians who I love take my ideas seriously and really try them out in earnest. It's a very special place where we're encouraged to think big and to bring whatever big thinking you have to the table instead of kind of lurking within a hierarchy. It really brings people in, whether it's the audience, whether it's a soloist, a guest musician that isn't a member of the Knights or joining us for the first time.
The Knights think about collaborations as kind of experiment. We are able to expand that perspective that we have of how do we play music in a larger context.
When we look outside of the group for inspiration from collaborators, whether they're composers or dancers or choreographers, visual artists, we look for someone to challenge us. How do we have a conversation when we don't necessarily speak the same specific art language or just language in general? How do we find ourselves in a place where we can receive information and try something totally different?
Looking back at the last 10 years, my mind is blown by all the collaborations, all the incredible artistic partners we've had over the years. Yo-Yo Ma, such a friend, hero, mentor to so many in the group and the group as a whole. Touring the South with Bela Fleck's Banjo Concerto.
Dance companies, ballet collective, Pam Tanowitz, Andy Akiho on steel pan.
Alison Moritz directing, John Higginbotham choreographing Bernstein's Candide at Tanglewood and at Ravinia. Gil Shaham, an artist who I grew up listening to and playing concerts, touring with him, a relationship that I feel so closely to my heart.
So many incredible collaborators over the years have been our guides into different sound worlds, different ways of musical expression. Kenan Asme, or Avi Avital, or Joshua Redman. Working with young musicians, the incredible singers of the San Francisco Girls Chorus and the Brooklyn Youth Chorus. I think Gustav Mahler summed it up best. Tradition is not the worship of ashes, but the preservation of fire. That fully defines what I believe the Knights represents, and one way to do that is through working with living composers.
We've commissioned over 40 composers in the last 10 years to bring new music. The Kreutzer project is something I am so excited about. Beethoven wrote a sonata for violin and piano. Janacek took that idea, made it into a string quartet. Tolstoy wrote a novella about it, and the Knights commissioned Anna Klein to write a work as a response to those pieces. This is the type of project that brings so many types of art together, and it's exactly what the Knights thrives on.
I think programming for the Knights is just like an ongoing conversation. All of it really is about finding unexpected connections. It's about widening the tent for classical music. It's about connecting with our audiences in an unexpected way.
Connecting to a large audience, you know, you'll see it on our faces. We smile. We're enjoying ourselves.
It is through music that the Knights find our greatest expression and also our greatest sense of joy. And for us, it's only natural that we would want to share that and really be missionaries for how the next generation of music lovers is going to get to experience music.
The experience of playing for young people is so much fun. And one of the ways that we've done that is through programming in schools, in libraries, in parks, and our community programming is really connected to our central mission. In the last few years, the Knights have had the privilege of connecting with our audiences at Brick with family concerts. We've also had partnerships with public schools and private schools in Brooklyn. Students come to our rehearsals and attend and ask questions and interact with us, and we actually go as teaching artists to those schools as well.
There's something incredible about when a very young child hears an instrument they've never heard before and their face lights up, or when they hear those sounds put together in the overwhelming sound of the symphonic orchestra.
We've really enjoyed our experiences at the Tillis Center on Long Island, working with young people over the course of a day of side-by-side rehearsals and a concert.
They are embedded within the orchestra, and their voices can come to the fore as much as another Knight's voice. The kind of skills that you learn through that kind of work transfer to a wide swath of life as you go into the future. It's working with a disciplined imagination. Music's one of the few things that allows for this kind of cross-cultural, cross-generational dialogue. And at this moment, more than ever in the world, it feels like dialogue is what we need, connection.
The Knights and You was an incredible way to connect with people during this particular time that we live in. We got together on Zoom with the entire orchestra and said, how can we connect with people right now? An amazing idea came from Megan Conley, harpist in the Knights. She said, how about doing these one-on-ones? Who wants to play a duet with us? And we started pairing them up, a member of the Knights with a member of our community. Students in Brooklyn or amateur guitarists in Germany or all across the world. And this type of innovation, these types of ideas are what the Knights stand for. Like, how can everyone in the Knights contribute and be a part of the ownership of this ensemble? It really speaks to the idea of what the Knights want to do. We want to be in concert halls, but we also want to be in community centers. We also want to be in schools, and we also want to meet people on the train and perform with them. That whole idea of meeting people where they are, it's about that immediate connection.
The Knights and New York, that's where we were born. The city is the birthplace. The city has many well-informed people that have a lot of opinions, and music is certainly one of them. Even in my apartment building, I have neighbors that, oh, I saw you in the park. You know, it's that interaction of different ideas and belief systems that all come together. It's really afforded us different ways to think about music and to connect to people with it.
This city provides everything. The idea of community, bringing people together in all sorts of various places, forums.
Whether it's Carnegie Hall or Naumburg Bandshell, Caramore, Brick, Celebrate Brooklyn, the list goes on and on. The Knights have tried to bring music to New Yorkers of all walks of life.
We're so happy to now have a home at the 92nd Street Y, a place that actually stands for so many of the things that we love. They do everything culturally and educationally and for the community, and this new collaboration feels more than ever needed.
I mean, with New York as a world city, we were immediately casting our gaze in a global way. And now we find ourselves regularly touring some of the world's great concert halls, performing at the Elbphilharmonie, the Musikverein, the Berlin Konzerthaus.
We have to find out what it is in the music that will cross through all the audiences. And it's a challenge for us, it's exciting, and I think we're unique in that we do that.
We want to cast that vision deep into the future. And I think that comes about through continually questioning our assumptions. What is the music we're playing? Who are we playing it for? Where is it going to live and breathe? How is the next audience going to find us? And these are the questions that we're going to be working on alongside how does music bring people together? How does it participate in the healing that our city, nation, the world is going to need to go through after this pandemic?
The culture that we work hard to preserve of thinking big, of being honest with each other, trusting one another, is kind of the perfect place to launch ahead into any future ventures because, you know, this is a perilous time for the arts right now. But for the Knights, pivoting is something we do pretty much every project.
When the Nights started, I don't think we would have imagined the idea that we'd be touring in Europe and making recordings with all these incredible artists that we love so much. I get so excited thinking about what the next 5 years can be, what the next 10 years can be, where can we go, what are the recordings, what are the ways to communicate with people that we haven't yet even discovered.
I'm so grateful for all of the Nights board, all the Nights council, the staff over the years, all the musicians who've put in their blood, sweat, and tears, and the audiences that we find wherever we go, around the world, at home in New York, families, children, music lovers of classical music, those who come to us through our collaborations. It's an incredible community, and we know that our music lives and breathes in front of human beings, and we can't wait for the moment when we can play in front of all of you again in person.